Okay, class, picking up where we left off at. We left off at 10 over 15, and I took the liberty of filling this out here. So with our 10 over 15, we take the prime factorization of 10, which is 2 times 5, and the prime factorization of 15, which is 3 times 5. These 5 simplify out, and we're left with 2/3. Now we come down here to problem number 4. Problem number 4, we find the prime factorization of 12 and the prime factorization of 5. Now if you notice, they have nothing in common here, so you multiply all of the factors. 2 times 2 is 4, times 3 is 12, times 5 is 60. Now we take the new denominator, which is 60, divided by the old denominator. 60 divided by 12 is 5. So we'll take this 5 and multiply it to this 11. 5 times 11 is 55. Now we would take this new denominator divided by the old. 60 divided by 5 is 12, and then we'll take 12 times the 2. 12 times 2 is 24. Our denominator stays 60. 55 minus 24 is 31. So your final answer here is 31 over 60. Okay, now we scroll down here to section D. We're using the order of operations. Now we're going to go over a couple things here. First of all, you do the parentheses first, then we evaluate the exponents, then we do multiplication or division, whichever one comes first from left to right, and then we add or subtract, whichever one comes first from left to right. Okay, now this note here, it says average is also the same for whole numbers, fractions, and mixed numbers. You find the sum divided by the number of numbers in the list. Now we would be doing average pretty soon, but first we have a couple problems we need to do here. Number 1 here, we had division and multiplication. So since both of them had the same rank, we do whichever one comes first from left to right, and division did. So we bring our 2/9 down, we change division to multiplication, take the reciprocal of the second fraction, which will make it 7/4, and we could bring down our times 3 over 10. Now what we could do, since this is all multiplication, we could write all of the prime factorizations for your numerator, all of the prime factorizations for your denominator. And your numerator, all of these numbers are already prime, so we add 2, 7, and 3. And our denominator, 9, prime factorization is 3 times 3. 4's prime factorization is 2 times 2, and 10's prime factorization is 2 times 5. So we simplify out what they have in common. They have one set of 2's in common and one set of 3's in common. So you're left with 7 in your numerator, and in your denominator you add 3 times 2 is 6, times 2 is 12, times 5 is 60. So that takes care of that problem. Now we come here to number 2. We look here at this parenthesis. There's nothing we can do on the inside of the parentheses, so we leave that as is. Now we go to the next parenthesis. We add 3/5 minus 11 over 25. We can find the common denominator here. We have 5, we have 25. 5 is already prime, and 25 prime factorization is 5 times 5. Now they have one set of 5's that match up, so you write that once. And then we have an extra 5 here. So your common denominator would be 25. So we'll make these denominators 25. Now since this second fraction already has 25 as the denominator, we could write down the numerator because that's not going to change. But now with this first fraction, our denominator started out as a 5. So what we would do is we'd take the new denominator divided by the old denominator. 25 divided by 5 is 5. And we know we would take this 5 and multiply it by this 3. 5 times 3 is 15. Now, let me bring down this parenthesis, this division, and then our 2/5 parenthesis squared. Now I draw a little line here to separate these two. Okay, so now we do what's inside the parentheses here. We have 15 minus 11, which is 4, and our denominator stays 25. So now we have to do the next thing, which is these exponents, because there's nothing we could do with these parentheses. So this is 2/5 squared, which is the same as 2/5 times 2/5, and that's divided by 4/25. We could drop that parenthesis there. 2 times 2 is 4. 5 times 5 is 25. 4/25 divided by 4/25. Any number except 0 divided by itself is 1, even if it is a fraction. So your final answer here is 1. Now we go here to number 3. It says find the average. Now we have to remember, when we find the average, the first thing we do is add up all of the numbers that are provided. That is our first step. So we need to find a common denominator of 2, 8, and 24. I don't know why this keeps doing this, but that's 24, not 29. 2 is already prime. 8 breaks down to 3 2's. And 24, we add 3 times 8, and we know 8 breaks down to 3 2's. So now, let's write down our prime factorizations. And then 24, we will have 3 2's and a 3. Now this is what we would do. We'll first see if something matches up in all 3 of these factors. We have a 2 here, a 2 here, and 2 here. So we will write that once. Now, this one is, the first one is done. Now we go to the second factor. Now this 2 and this 2 matches up, so you still count it only once. And this 2 and this 2 matches up, so you'll still count that only once. And we have a 3 left over. So our common denominator is 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 3 is 24. Now, this is what we would do. We would take the new denominator divided by the old denominator. That gave us 12. So we know that this 12 will be multiplied to this 1. And then next, for some reason it won't stick. Okay, next, we'll take the new denominator, which is 24, divided by the old denominator, which is 8. So this 3 here will multiply to this 3 here. And then finally, 24 divided by 24 will give us 1. So we know that this 1 here will multiply by this 7 here. So remember, our denominators are 24. So now remember, we took the 12 times the 1, which is 12. Then we took the 3 times the 3, which gave us 9. And then we took the 1 times the 7, which gave us 7. Now we add these numbers up. 12 and 9 is 21, plus 7 is 28. So we add 28 over 24. Now we can simplify this. Prime factorization of 28 is 2 times 2 times 7. Prime factorization of 24 is 2 times 2 times 3. We add 2 sets of 2's that will simplify out, and we will be left with 7 over 6. Now, we're not done yet because we want to find the average. So what we would do here, we would take 7 over 6. And how many numbers did we have originally? We had 1, 2, and 3. So we would take this 7 over 6 and divide it by 3. Because remember, you add all the values up and you divide by how many numbers you had in the beginning. So now we have 7 6 divided by 3, which give us 7 6 divided by 3 over 1, which is 7 6 times the reciprocal of 3 over 1, which is 1 over 3. 7 times 1 is 7, and 6 times 3 is 18. They have nothing in common, so your answer here is 7/18. Now that was a little bit of a lengthy problem, but we got through it. And that is it from section 3.5. We will be starting 3.6 very shortly.